I think the actual result between Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko shows that there's an actual good chance that if Mikey Garcia would have fought Lomachenko, he might have beaten him. Now, a lot of people might think that that's just crazy, but if you actually think about it, um, a lot of people that Lomachenko beat, Mikey Garcia actually beat before him. Mikey Garcia is definitely one of the most underrated fighters in the sport. If you take into account that he was undefeated until he stepped up to welterweight to fight Errol Spence, but before that, he obviously did get dropped once or twice, but he generally has not put a foot wrong in his career. Now, I think his weight class is the 140 weight class, and that's his best weight. But if he was to fight Lomachenko, I think Lomachenko is a natural 130 pounder, 135 pounder. His best weight, I think, was at super featherweight when he was fighting the likes of Rigondeaux and making Nicholas Walter quit and all of that stuff. But if you take into account that when he stepped up in weight and he went up to lightweight, he gave a questionable performance against Luke Campbell. He obviously lost to Teofimo Lopez. When he fought Jorge Linares, Jorge Linares actually dropped him. So if you look at it from a perspective of just purely weight, Lomachenko's best weight is super featherweight. But if you look at it from the perspective of Mikey Garcia's best weight is his best weight is probably 140 to 135. Now, from a weight perspective, you can make a case that if you're just looking at it from a weight perspective, obviously I think Lomachenko is a more athletically gifted fighter than Mikey Garcia. I think Mikey Garcia is a very technically gifted fighter. So is Lomachenko. But if you see the fact that Lomachenko struggled with Teofimo Lopez's size, and obviously him being young as well, and obviously if you take into account that Lomachenko actually is a fighter that has had like 400 amateur fights and has won 2 Olympic gold medals, and his body is a little bit shot worn as well, I think that Mikey Garcia had a very, very, very good chance of beating Lomachenko. But for whatever reason, that fight was never made. Obviously, it was a bad decision for him to go up to welterweight and fight the likes of Errol Spence, because Errol Spence just destroyed him. And I think his performances in general have gotten a lot less spectacular as he has gone up the weights, similar to Lomachenko. Lomachenko, when he went up the weights, his performances have gone a lot more stale. He was absolutely electric at super featherweight, but when he went up to lightweight and he was fighting the likes of Linares and he was fighting the likes of Nick who did he lose to? Teofimo Lopez and the Luke Campbells of the world, he just doesn't look as electric as he did at the lower weight classes. And it's the same with Mikey Garcia. When he went up in weight against the likes of Jesse Vargas and when he fought obviously Errol Spence, he just didn't look as good. But if they were to fight each other, say they were supposed to fight at lightweight or super lightweight, I think Mikey Garcia beats him just because that's closer to his weight where he was at his peak. And obviously Lomachenko, when he goes up in weight and was fighting the likes of the Teofimo Lopez's and the Jorge Linares and the Luke Campbells, that's the weight that he was losing at. So just from that perspective, just looking at it from weight, I think if they were to fight each other at a catch weight, let's say they were to fight at lightweight or super lightweight, I think that's closer to Mikey Garcia's prime weight than it is Lomachenko. So because of that, I think because of Mikey Garcia's size, not only his size but his boxing ability as well, he's a very technically gifted fighter. I think if they were to fight each other, Mikey Garcia could have beaten Lomachenko. I think he should have taken that fight. He probably would have beaten Lomachenko, but obviously there's a lot of other things at play. If you take into account that Mikey Garcia had an issue with Bob Arum, and that's the reason why his career stalled a bit. That could be the reason why he never took that fight against Lomachenko, because Lomachenko is obviously signed with Bob Arum. So yeah, that's my opinions. I think there's a very good chance. Obviously, we'll never know for sure, but I think there's a very good chance that Mikey Garcia could have beaten Lomachenko if they fought. Let's just say they fought at 130. That's closer to Mikey Garcia's natural weight class where he's dominant, and that's further away from Lomachenko's weight class where he's dominant. His weight class when he was dominant was at super featherweight, while for Mikey Garcia it was about lightweight or light welterweight. That's his prime weight. So yeah, that's my thoughts below. Tell me your thoughts below. Tell me who you think would have won if they both fought. Do you think Lomachenko would have beaten Mikey Garcia? Do you think Mikey Garcia would have beaten Lomachenko? I think Mikey Garcia would have beaten him because if you just look at Lomachenko's performance against Teofimo Lopez in the first fight, as soon as he felt his power, it stopped him in his tracks. It pushed him back, and he didn't want to engage as much. When you're going up there against a bigger guy who's also got the power advantage and he's bigger than you, it's a lot harder for you to out-slick them. The same thing happened when Rigondeaux fought Lomachenko. Rigondeaux's probably just as skilled as Lomachenko in some aspects, but when he was in there against a bigger man who was technically just as good as he was, it kind of intimidated him and it got inside his head. So yeah, that's my thoughts below. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think? Who do you think would have won this fight? And imagine if that fight was to happen at 130 or 135, who do you think would have won? So yeah, that's my thoughts. Like and subscribe. I got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.